I really thought that Meghan's mother Doria was in this safe zone and she should not worry about being pulled at Thomas Markle on her. But when you watch Meghan's reaction to being interrupted, maybe you'll have second thoughts. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. This happened in September 2018 at an outdoor launch at Kensington Palace. You might remember that this was the same occasion when Harry made that blunder with one of the women attending. Let me refresh your memory. Yeah, that was one of those times when you wonder why Harry doesn't just ask his assistants about what's the right way to greet someone to not make this kind of mistake. Oh yeah, it's because Harry is natural and spontaneous, I guess. But again, it's strange with someone like Meghan that is so controlling of the tiniest bit of public relations, wouldn't be aware of the possibility of this kind of Harry moments before they happen. Well, in Harry's defense, he has never eaten cookies like a chipmunk, so... But the fact is that for this engagement, Doria was with them, interacting with everyone and in general having a good time. By the way, has anyone seen Doria recently? We know that Meghan did a complete ghost protocol on her father Thomas, but I really thought that her mother had this get out of Montecito jail card. Whatever. The fact is that they were interacting with everyone and Meghan was really trying to be relatable, touching people. The problem is that she touched them like this. Yeah, that arm touch looked like an android who learned how to be friendly from Mark Zuckerberg. But maybe Meghan was a little nervous because this was her moment to shine as a feminist and she really wanted to nail it down for the cameras. That must be the reason her left hand stopped working at some point. It must have been rebooting the Markle Claw operating system, who knows. But so far, it looks like everyone was having a good time, a lot of genuine smiles, and they really liked being around Meghan. That's great. Even Harry looked really relaxed with nice hand gestures. And speaking of hand gestures, Meghan gave a short speech with a good delivery, but I really don't know what was going on with her blinking. Well, I had to make a video just to talk about Meghan's blinking. But in most situations, this blinking frequency is analogous with anxiety. We blink for a number of reasons, and the two most important are 1. To lubricate our eyes, of course, bringing a tiny amount of tears as a layer over our pupils, and 2. We blink as a means of processing something in our minds. Some people just blink a lot, all the time. That could be a nervous tic, but Meghan doesn't have that condition. She usually has a normal blinking frequency. So in her case, when she begins to blink faster, you know that this is an emotional reaction to something. It's what I usually mention as a change of rhythm. In our body language, we have all kinds of rhythms. With our hand gestures, with our voice, our blinking, walking, every body language clue has a rhythm to it. When you spot that rhythm in someone and the rhythm suddenly changes, then you know that the person is displaying an emotional reaction to something. That's your first clue that something is happening inside them. It's like this subtle eyebrow raise. If you've been watching Meghan for some time, this is something she does to draw attention to what she's saying. This is part of her baseline, or her common body language. This is important to spot because sometimes we could detect some body language displays that could mean something when in fact they are part of the person's regular expression. But this is something that Meghan doesn't do all the time. Yeah, you might think that this is her regular way of talking, of public speaking, that she uses her hands a lot, and I've said many times she knows how to use her body language to deliver a speech. Well, most of the time. But no, really, she knows how to emphasize with her hands, but this gesture of raising her hands at face height, this is not something that she usually does. So this is being off her regular body language expression, even if it happens for just a split second. This is important because we need to be stuck in body language signals to reach a conclusion. But the next signal is from Harry, who was visibly delighted in a very strange pose for a man. I would like to know what's your opinion about this posture and his hand gesture in the comments. And then it happened. You're going to watch the moment Meghan is talking and then Doria sort of interrupts her. As usual, try to relax your mind to absorb their body language with your intuition first. Well, at first Meghan's face is quite relaxed. There is no tension in her eyebrows or her mouth. She's just talking and using certain hand gestures to emphasize her words. But at some point, she is about to end a sentence and she does her classic hand clasping. It's not that hand clasping means that a person is going to be quiet or silent. It's just a common sense signal that if you see someone using hand gestures to express themselves and they begin to lower their voice and limit hand movement, then this could be the signal that they are going to finish their current idea. That's part of conversation dynamics between 3 or more people, when you have to spot the body language signals of everyone so you know when you can enter the conversation. And I think that's what happened with Doria. She wanted to say something and she just waited for the Meghan's body language signals that she was ending her current idea. But when Doria begins to speak, we can spot a cluster of very concerning body language signals in Meghan, and the easiest one to spot is not in her face but her fingers. If you pay attention to her fingers, you can see that she was about to say something else. Her fingers are unclasping and then they go stiff. This is why it's so important to pay attention to people's hands. Her fingers are so stiff that they are almost bending backwards. That's a signal of a lot of tension that you're trying to release with your hands. But it's not until we shift our attention to Meghan's face that we can confirm her true reaction. And there are 3 signals happening at the same time. She's opening her eyes just a bit wider. That's important. At the same time, she's pushing her jaw forward, what is called a chin jut, which is a very subtle display of anger. But what gives Meghan's emotions away is the shape of her mouth. As usual, try to mimic her mouth at this exact instant and try to absorb the feeling that you get. Either way, her lips are pressed against each other and almost completely horizontal, which is very hard to mimic. That's a signal of frustration. And if you add the concealed anger and the inner tension, you already have a very aggressive reaction in terms of body language. But what makes it so much more concerning is that she's reacting like this to her own mother. It is no secret that Meghan loves being the center of attention, and in this case, it was almost frightening to see that not even Doria can express her own ideas without setting off this kind of reactions on her daughter. Maybe that's the reason why we haven't seen Doria in a while. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.